guys, welcome back to Rapid Fire. I just wanted to have a quick chat about Disney and 20th Century Fox. So if you didn't know, the two of them are working on a deal that will have Disney acquire 20th Century Fox. And just quick side note, this does not include Fox News or Fox Sports. This is solely the film and television properties. This might seem like old news to a lot of you, but this deal is actually still in the works, hasn't gone through yet, so there is a chance, not a very big one, but a little tiny chance that this might not actually happen. So yeah, this is pretty huge. 20th Century Fox has been around for a long time, and if you're wondering what I think about this potential acquisition, well, I don't love it. There are two main reasons for that. The first and probably more important reason I'm not a huge fan of this is that Disney is already huge. They own Marvel Studios, Lucasfilm, and Pixar, just to name a few of the things they're in control of. That puts them at the helm of two of the most profitable movie series in current cinema, if not all time, and that's Marvel Cinematic Universe and Star Wars. They're a juggernaut. So that being said, acquiring Fox Studios and all of its assets would put them near, not an actual monopoly, but pretty close to monopolistic power in the film industry, and that's not a great thing. You remember Teddy Roosevelt and the whole trust-busting thing way back in the day? Yeah, that happened for a reason. Competition in any industry is good. It keeps the companies honest, and it drives quality up. And in addition to all of that, if Fox gets acquired by Disney, a lot of people could get laid off, and that just really sucks. And the second main reason I really don't want this acquisition going through is it's arguably less important, but it's more creatively focused. And it seems that I, unlike pretty much every other nerd on the internet, don't want the X-Men to go back to the rest of Marvel. I think they work really well on their own, in their own universe. And I'll get into that further in a second, but just for everyone else out there who has a problem with the business side of this, but then follows that statement by saying, but Wolverine and Iron Man could quip at each other. No. If you got a problem with the business side, take that as priority. Okay, I'm going to put aside the business angle of this going forward. Now back to the point about the X-Men. Honestly, the MCU doesn't need the X-Men, and in my opinion, the X-Men universe doesn't really need to be part of the MCU. Aside from, I'd say, 2 films in the X-Men saga, I think they've been pretty great. You have stuff like Deadpool and Logan. Disney is probably not going to make films like that in this series. And also, if you reintegrate the X-Men into the MCU, you're going to get maybe one X-Men movie every 4 years or something like that, so you're not going to see these characters very much anymore. And I know these characters coexist together in the same universe in the comic books, but that's always confused me just a little bit, because people really don't like mutants in the X-Men.
3 words. Are mutants dangerous?
I'm afraid that's an unfair question, Senator Kelly. After all, the wrong person behind the wheel of a car can be dangerous.
Well, we do license people to drive.
Yes, but not to live. Senator, it is a fact that mutants who've come forward and revealed themselves publicly have been met with fear, hostility, even violence. It is because of that ever-present hostility that I am urging the Senate to vote against mutant registration. To force mutants to expose themselves will only further
Expose themselves? What is it the mutant community has to hide, I wonder, that makes them so afraid to identify themselves?
I didn't say they were hiding.
Well, let me show you what is being hidden, Miss Gray. I have here a list of names of identified mutants living right here in the United States.
Senator
Now, here's
Kelly.
a girl in Illinois who can walk through walls. Now, what's to stop her from walking into a bank vault, or into the White House, or into their houses?
Senator
And there are
Kelly.
even rumors, Miss Gray, of mutants so powerful that they can enter our minds and control our thoughts.
It's supposed to be like an allegory for racism, right? And they're treated very poorly by the general population. But then people really love Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man!
Does the general population know that Spider-Man isn't a mutant? How? How would they get that information? They don't know who he is. He has a secret identity. So the rules of the X-Men universe seem very different than the rules of the rest of the Marvel properties. And I kind of like how neat that is. Like, X-Men is very allegorical, and every hero or villain in that universe has their powers from the same source. If you integrate them into the MCU, it would just seem like, okay, well, where were these people all along? Just seems like it would be kind of messy to try to integrate them, And I hear a lot of people talk about this integrating them into the MCU issue as just, the mutants can just crop up now. But one thing where that really loses me is one of the characters I find the most interesting in X-Men is Magneto. And his whole character motivation, at least in the films, comes from him being a Holocaust victim. And his worldview and view on humanity is completely informed by the atrocities he witnessed during that time. So, what gives there? You can't just have mutants appear in 2018, but have Magneto still be a Holocaust victim. And as much as I don't want this to happen, at all, I will put forth one suggestion that could make this integration work in a way that I would enjoy. If you're familiar with the DC superhero shows on the CW, they actually did this pretty cleverly. They had their own shows going, and then they ended up picking up Supergirl after it got canceled on CBS. And the way they explained her existence was she's just on a different Earth from everybody else. And they have a little wormhole garage door opener thing that she uses, and they can just kind of cross over from Earth to Earth whenever they need to. If you just do the same thing with X-Men and MCU, I'll be okay with that creatively. Business-wise, still a little sketchy, not a fan of it, but if you're going to do it, which they almost certainly are, that's the way I would do it. Before closing out, I feel like I need to say, Disney is a company, I like them, all right. They seem fine, and they make a lot of good stuff, but we can't treat them differently just because we like who they are. We need to treat them the same as everybody else in the industry, So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Drop a comment down if you have different thoughts. Like and subscribe, and see you next time.